Now that is how you do a baby movie.
5 stars, 100%, all around the board.
Because, you know why? The only baby in this movie is the one in the title. There's no like mass-produced artificial babies coming off the rack. There's no stupid worlds that are so poorly designed they should be collapsing over the weight of their idiocy. There's no poop balls, dick butt humor in spades.
There's no birds. There's no suits. There's no puns.
Edgar Wright, you beautiful bastard. You've done it again.
Yeah, that was a better Fast and Furious movie than the actual Fast and Furious movie that came out months ago.
It really is, honestly.
So yeah, we just got out of Baby Driver.
Yes. And you know what? That title is probably the worst part of this movie.
Absolutely.
Which is not even like it's a title that doesn't make sense. I mean, once you see the movie, you realize that it's
self-explanatory.
It's perfect. But people are going to take one look at that and think, it's probably a stupid movie. I don't care.
I thought it was... Okay, I only saw one TV/commercial spot for this. And after I saw that, it made it seem like it was like a cartoon or something.
I mean, I didn't care about this movie until I saw a trailer that said, written and directed by Edgar Wright.
Fanboy, okay. I'm
Absolutely.
A bit of a
Absolutely.
fanboy, too.
You know what? No, I am proud to say I am a huge Edgar Wright fan. Every single one of his movies he's made is never left me disappointed. They are fantastic through and through.
He also made your favorite Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is my favorite movie of all time. Okay? So I just get that out of the way.
Unfair advantage.
Well,
nah.
Anyways, Baby Driver, I mean, it's not a straight comedy like Shaun, not in the same vein as something like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, or At World's End, or even Scott Pilgrim. This is more action than comedy, and it's fantastic. Like we said, it's a better Fast and Furious than Fast and Furious was.
Absolutely, mostly because they did keep it to a simple premise, and being that they kept it to a simple premise, that made it feel more real. And luckily they take the tone of it seriously as well, so you're able to actually like the lead character a lot. And he is incredibly likable in this.
This movie's got style in abundance.
That very much as well. The main way you're able to tell that it's got style is from the fucking poster. It's not just some photoshopped whatever. It's an actual like artist drawing poster, and as soon as I saw it, it reminded me of Bullet and pretty much just any other Steve McQueen movie you could think of.
I just want to say this right now. Please do yourself a favor and go watch this movie.
Hell yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
this is barely going to be a review and more like a gush fest.
It's a praising. Oh, la, la, la.
But really, I highly doubt anyone who sees this movie is going to walk away disappointed. It's that good. If this doesn't end up on my top 5 best movies of the year, either it was a really, really good year for movies,
which we don't think it's going to be,
or something's really fucking wrong with me.
Well, there's no denying that,
and there probably still is anyway. But even then, I'm going to make sure this really is. I mean, right now, this is the best movie I've seen this year.
Better than Logan?
Yes, better than Logan. I like Logan, but I put this above Logan.
Okay. Well, let me bring everybody back to planet Earth because you're soaring high in the skies. This is incredibly good, and especially coming from a fan of like very much old style action movies. I loved how they were able to just take like a simple premise, but still provide like grade A action. And it's not even, when you think of the premise, it's just about a wheelman who is a little bit messed up, but he's amazing. You think, it's just going to be cars all day. No, they actually do have a variety of different forms of action as well. Obviously, you got the driving stunts, which are done incredibly well here, and very little use of CGI. Like I was talking with him earlier, Edgar Wright is very well known for doing his practical effects, and also they're like I said before, it's not just cars. They got a lot of guns as well, and
There's on foot action as well.
Chases as well. But also Edgar Wright, he does his job as a director well as well, because he knows how to build tension. He knows how to actually keep you guessing when the movie continues. With the premise being that this kid literally named Baby, adult male named Baby, is a getaway driver for this man named Doc, played by Kevin Spacey. And this kid is unbelievable. He makes Dom Toretto look like a 5-year-old behind the wheel. And it's explained subtly that Baby, played by Ansel Elgort, he didn't even know who he was. But then again, you also didn't see The Fault in Our Stars, which is a romantic movie, but it's actually good. I've seen it.
Speaking of romantic, this movie handles romance better than full-on romance movies we've seen.
This actually does have a good romance, but I'll get into that later. Yeah. This guy is amazing behind the wheel, and he proves it time in and time out through several different heists in this movie. Even when he crashes, like, constantly, you think that if you hit one car and you're slowed down, that you're screwed doing whatever job you do. Nope. This guy
just float in reverse and flips the car around.
The only time he fails in this is when he purposely sabotages the job. But we don't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's Wheelman, but he's
his quirk,
just like also on the on the poster.
Can I explain his quirk to him?
He always has his headphones in.
Yes. See, the thing was, in his backstory, something happened to him as a kid. I won't say exactly what, because you guys should see the movie anyway. Something happened to him to where now all he can hear is like this high-pitched frequency in his ears. So he always has his headphones in and listening to music to drown it out and everything. And that's where the majority of the style of this movie comes from. When people praise this movie and say, oh, it's got a really kick-ass soundtrack and everything, that's not doing it justice. Because while, yes, it does have a kick-ass soundtrack,
very kick-ass soundtrack,
there's more to it than that. Every bit of action in this movie is synchronized with the music.
That it is. Every gunshot, literally, a gunshot is a beat within the score of this movie.
To the point where this is practically like an action movie musical. It's like choreographed that well with the music. And it's amazing. This happens sometimes in action movies where there'll be a song playing and it'll be to the beat of the action. Well, now imagine like an entire movie where they do that constantly. And you think that might get tiresome after a while. It doesn't. Because they vary up the music, they vary up the tone, the style, the pacing, everything. You really never, ever get sick of it. And that's where a lot of the style of this movie comes from, is it's choreographed with the music. And
well, that's just all power to Wright again, but also I think, doesn't he usually keep the same editing team with him as well?
I don't know if it's the same editing team, but he's got a distinct editing style. Very, very snappy, very quick pace. You know, as an editor myself, I very much appreciate the work that him and his team do. It's hard to explain without actually showing it. It's even harder to explain.
But that's just his strength, though. He is one of the few directors who actually can visually tell a story.
Yeah, he visually do everything. I mean, if you want to get into how good he is at comedy, we could be here all night.
Mm-hmm.
But as is, you know, he's just like a Mary Sue director. He's so good at everything he does.
Relating that back into the movie, the action again is shot very well, and it's not even that he uses good quick cuts well. He uses tracking shots incredibly well, whether it be in the car chases, like he has long shots throughout that as well, but also the on foot chases that he has or that he displays, particularly Elgort or his stunt double gets extra props for doing an incredibly good parkour example throughout one of the action scenes in the movie, but also he's able to show and not tell. The elements of Baby's backstory are almost entirely visually shown. The only time that we're not visually shown what he is like as a character and his character's motivation and backstory, said once by Kevin Spacey close to the beginning of the movie. If you could argue the middle of it, because did he talk about that with his second job crew?
Yeah. And I mean, it's not even like it's blatant exposition, like this is this man and this happened. No, it comes very naturally. Like, he's really, the dialogue in this movie all feels like actual people, actual characters. So when they're talking about Baby's backstory, it's not so much, spill all the exposition to me, sir.
Spill the beans now.
Everyone's trying to figure out this quirks, because he comes in with sunglasses and headphones, just sits at a table, still as a plank, doesn't say anything.
He looks like he doesn't give a fuck at all.
So everyone's like, what's this guy's deal? What the hell's going on? It's like, why do you have headphones in? And they're wondering what music he's listening to, and they're wondering, hey, can you hear me and everything? And it's just, oh man, everything is just so well done, to the point where
keep going.
Okay, I'm trying to. I know I'm being incredibly unprofessional right now. Just
you don't even need to be
gushing over this thing, but I can't.
How much will you gush? Will you gush for money? Gush for pay?
I don't know. That'd be impressive if he honestly cared about my opinion that much.
Oh boy! But no, absolutely. But another thing, you sort of misled me before we went in to see this movie. When I think of Edgar Wright action and comedy, and granted there is a little bit of comedy in this, but it's few and far between, even though when it actually does attempt to do it, it works. Yeah, when I think of action comedy...
This isn't a Marvel movie where it's just thrown in all willy-nilly.
No, it definitely does fit naturally, but when I think of the action comedy, I think of the Cornetto movies. Well, particularly, I don't laugh that much whenever I watch Hot Fuzz. I laugh, oddly enough.
Okay.
Oddly enough, I laugh more at Shaun of the Dead and The World's End, and I actually like The World's End best out of the Cornetto.
That was
green motherfuckers, go with it.
Funny thing, the first time I saw Shaun of the Dead, I hated it. I thought, this is stupid. I can't understand why anyone would like this. And I think my problem was I was looking too much for a zombie movie in that. I wasn't so much looking for a comedy. So the second time I watched it, I realized just how brilliant it was. And then when I watched Hot Fuzz, first time I saw it, absolutely adored it. First time I saw The World's End, I thought, Second time I saw it, my God, perfect.
And you were you introduced me to The World's End, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with it right away. But then again,
Edgar Wright movies are so intricate and so jam packed that you really do have to see them twice to fully appreciate them.
And you saw in the opening. Okay, another great aspect of him is that he does throw in little details that you have to pick up on. For instance, in the opening credits, the background music that's playing, you can actually see the lyrics that they are painted on the sides of the walls of the buildings that Ansel Elgort Baby is passing by in order to get coffee. That just little things like that,
or even
offer for that much more involvement from the audience.
Yeah. Or even just trying to pick up on all the things, like how far do you go to choreograph it to the music? Because you can kind of see blatant things like like we said, gunshots and stuff. But there's other things too, like when there's a guitar riff and he slams on the gas and you hear the engine purring with the guitar and everything. It's just so well done. This is another movie I want to see again immediately, but I can't.
But luckily,
which was also kind of what happened with Scott Pilgrim. When I first saw that in theaters, I legitimately thought, I'm gonna hide in the bathroom and I'm gonna sneak back into the theater. I legitimately thought that.
you should have just walked into another theater, killed some more time, and then you go into one movie, watch a bit of another, and then just watch the other one again. So you're getting even more bang for your buck.
Well, I didn't. I ended up not doing that, but I did take as many people to see Scott Pilgrim as I could, and actually, that movie holds my record for most times I've ever seen a single movie in theaters. You know how many times? 7.
Jesus.
Yes. And even more if you include the times I've seen it on home video. So,
Jeez. Well, usually your favorite movie of all time, even within the first few years or whatever of you calling it your favorite movie, you got to see it around 12.
Yeah.
12 total. But
can I say? Oh, I'm sorry.
well, I was just gonna try and get us back to this movie.
Okay, go ahead.
But along with the story, the visuals, the directing, the acting is also very good as well. Mm-hmm. And luckily,
you got an all-star cast here.
Well, okay, I wouldn't necessarily go as far to say all-star, but we do have 2 Oscar winners and an Emmy Award winner in this. So, but yeah, Kevin Spacey, by far one of my favorite actors of all time. Hell, he's in American Beauty. He's great, but also I felt sort of 50-50 on his character. Obviously he plays the heist planner, and he seems really shady right away, but because they try and paint him as the sort of like fatherly boss figure that you think won't do you wrong, but you know that he has the force to be able to get what he wants. But later on in the movie, he still helps Baby out. But other than that, everyone else is perfectly fine. Jamie Foxx is great as this like renegade, batshit crazy wild card.
He's basically like Mr. What was Madsen's character in Reservoir Dogs?
Mr. Blonde.
Mr. Blonde? Yes, he's basically the Mr. Blonde of this movie.
Pretty much. I wish he would have said, "Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite?"
That would have been perfect.
Want to run that by me again?
And they were just straight up said, "Now you're just quoting Reservoir Dogs, you lazy fuck." Which is funny too, because Baby actually quotes Monsters Inc. a few times this movie.
Yes,
and then Kevin Spacey says, "Stop quoting Monsters Inc."
My nephew has seen that, you fucking idiot.
Oh my god, the scene with his nephew. Okay, this just shows how creative and how smart Edgar Wright is.
Well, writing wise,
at least. There's a part in this movie where he asks Baby to go into this post office and basically scope it out.
Yeah, get the floor plan for Yeah, they're robbing a post office in this. That's their last heist.
Yep.
Now they've already robbed all the banks they can.
He says, take in my nephew. It'll be less conspicuous that way. With the nephew's got a PlayStation Vita, which
there is a bit of product placement in this, but it's not like painfully obvious.
I mean,
except for iPod.
It's a Sony movie, so it's not like a kid can have a DS or anything, which is probably what a kid would have. But regardless, no, shut up.
But then again, I'm wearing a Nintendo t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. So you would assume in most action comedies that this would probably get really awkward and really annoying. What's the kid gonna be like? I gotta use the bathroom, or I want a cookie.
Can I get a sucker? Because that's what you usually get.
Yeah. But instead, what ends up happening is they walk in and Baby's scoping out the place and it gets tense. Then suddenly he just kind of yanks on his shirt and the kid's like, 4 employees, 11 guests, 7 cameras, 1 armed guard. Oh, thanks.
Make your job easier. I don't know if he actually said that, but
it's like, okay, that was very unexpected.
And then as soon as they get back to the car after they're done scoping it out, the kid, Baby says what the kid said, but then he's like, he left out one of the parts and then holds up the number of fingers behind the PlayStation.
Kid was nice enough to let Baby take all the credit for it,
but then the kid said something. tiny cat, till lady, just yell at her boo, and she'll give you everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a chip off the old block, ain't he?
One other funny joke, well, it's not really well, I guess it could be a joke. Whatever. One really good line in this movie was when they have to switch cars, and so they GTA this one lady, and she's like, "I got a baby," and he's like, "So do I."
No, I got a kid. So but then the other guy says, "So do I." So like, "Oh yeah, I got kids at home too, bitch. Get out."
No, I thought they were referring to baby.
Damn it! I didn't think about that.
That's what I thought. Which is why she should have. You're right. She did say, "I have a kid." She should have said, "I have a baby," and he should have said, "So do I."
So do we.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Nobody leaves baby out of the car.
Yeah.
You know that quote from Dirty Dancing, right?
I haven't seen Dirty Dancing.
But you have to know the phrase, "Nobody puts baby in a corner."
No, I don't.
Oh, God.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, imagine if this was tied to Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
No, because the main, girl, her name is Baby in that movie.
Okay. Well, they make you... Oh, sorry. I don't mean to keep interrupting you.
No, it's fine. I was done anyway.
They make use of Baby in the sense that they, kind of like how American Werewolf in London constantly uses songs just because they have Moon in the name. This movie pulls out every song with the word baby in it. But I'm kind of angry at them because they missed "Baby Be Mine" by Michael Jackson.
Nobody wants to listen to Michael Jackson in a car chase.
Absolute, I do. Dude, that would
You're one of the outliers.
That's one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs, and it would have been perfect for this movie, but nope, we can't have that.
Wham, fucking wham. Go cry to your Thriller record.
That's bottom of the barrel nitpick there. This movie's still amazing. And can I talk to you about one other thing? I boycotted Ant-Man, right?
Yes.
Do you want to explain to them why?
Okay, so obviously Ant-Man, in the production of it was announced that Edgar Wright was in charge of writing and directing that movie. But when Marvel came to him for the final plan or whatever, he told them directly, if I want to work on this project, I need to be given time in order to make a quality product. To which anti-Marvel people like him interpret Marvel
time,
saying,
quality? Dude, this is Marvel. We ain't got any of that here. Go back to your own country.
We have to shit out one of these fuckers every year. Get to it.
And he said, "Fuck you." And see, but what's interesting about that though is that Ant-Man, I don't know what Ant-Man is, but it was Edgar Wright's vision of it was a heist movie. So I'm wondering if there was anything carried over from his vision of that project to this movie. Because this was, I did read that this kind of was a passion project of his, that he's wanted to do something like this for a long time. I'm guessing a heist movie or something. I didn't know. When I saw a trailer that said that written and directed by Edgar Wright, I thought, holy shit, he's making another one of these. I thought the next movie he was going to make is something he talked about in an interview, where it would be another part of the Cornetto trilogy, and this time it'd be pirate themed.
Okay. It sounds batshit crazy, but I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah.
Although, if it was pirate themed, then it wouldn't be a trilogy. It would be a quadrology?
A series. Let's just say a series.
Fine. Okay, one more thing about this movie, though. The romance. You said it was perfect.
Well, I think
I thought it was too easy.
It's not necessarily perfect. It's just that it's done so much better than most other movies. Even movies that their main focus is romance, this movie puts those to shame because the dialogue is very well written. The acting is spot on. It's not smothered under a bunch of abysmal comedy. It's for me, it's believable. It's well done. what I like is that it starts off with her just basically talking about how it's like, oh yeah, my name's Deborah and everything, and she's wearing a name tag that says Jonathan and stuff, and then she asks what kind of music she's listening to, and
he's listening to,
or what music she's listening to, and they get into a conversation about trying to find songs with their names in it. And when he tells her, well, my name's Baby, and he's like, well, then you got us all beat. There's a million songs with Baby in the name of it. And it's just, again, I just really like it because it's well done.
Because they do a very simple and easy job with just like actual adorable small talk. Plus the girl that they got for the love interest has a rare quality where she can be adorable and fucking hot as fuck at the same time.
Yeah.
I was literally grabbing for the screen at the end of it. I wanted her so bad. But my one nitpick was that she kind of came onto him really quickly.
Okay, yeah, maybe a little bit. But
luckily he didn't act like a complete idiot, like, oh, what do I say now? You have a pretty shirt. Want to go out with me?
It's not the
like shy, like
the guy has to pick his tongue up from off the floor. In fact, he's a very smooth talker, honestly.
Very much so. And well, luckily that's another one of his quirks that I liked. He's short and to the point.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't talk very much, but what he says is just spot on.
Pretty much. Well, I guess I take back one of my things against the script, because well, I thought that the dialogue was a little too basic, but then again, when you have a heist movie, the dialogue just needs to be basic, but also still have enough of realism to it that you can actually believe that these people would exist.
Yeah, it may not be like, it's not a bunch of one-liners, but you believe these characters are still characters. They're not joke dispensers. They're not action hero stereotypes. I mean, I know we just said that Jamie Foxx is basically the Mr. Blonde of this movie, but even then he's got other things to him.
He has his own personality.
He's covered in tattoos. He's seen jail far too many times, and he's, you see it in him how gung ho he is about not going back to jail, which is why
how much of a wild card he is.
Pretty much. Ow.
Sorry.
That's okay. So yeah, I mean, it's the Madman guy too.
John Hamm.
Yeah. He's actually kind of scary in this movie. I
wouldn't say scary, but more or less intimidating.
There's a horror movie jump scare with him in the car.
Wait, when he's in front of the car?
Yeah.
So when he stops the car?
Yeah. It's like something straight out of a horror movie.
I thought it was gonna be Bats, Jamie Foxx, but him getting in the car.
He does show up eventually. And let's see. Oh, and Shane from The Walking Dead has a brief cameo in this.
The guy in the first heister.
Yeah. Yep. In the opening of this movie, it's a different crew to what we get later in the movie, or what you see in the trailers and posters. One of those people is Shane.
I like to consider it one crew, another crew, and then a mix of both at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect combo.
Yeah.
Well, perfect combo. That's what this movie is. It's to the point. It's self-explanatory, but it's also great.
Yep, it's fantastic all around. Not much else to say about it.
If you're fans of like just classic, straightforward action with a good premise, a good execution, absolutely spend the money.
I suppose if you're a music enthusiast, you might really like this movie.
That too. Also, this has a lot of range of music in it.
And like we said, it's not just that the soundtrack is good.
It's not just to exist. It's not like Suicide Squad.
It's integrated into the movie itself, and like we said, to the point where this is practically an action musical, possibly the first of its kind.
And you will also want to go running to music after you see this, because again, the music is timed perfectly with the driving, with the running, with the shooting. It's all blended well.
Which is funny because this morning I was cleaning my room and I had my headphones in too, and I was dancing along to it. It's I get this kid. I get it.
A lot of people get it.
Yes.
And hopefully a lot of you will get it and go see this.
Please do. Edgar Wright needs a smash hit.
I thought he had one a while back. Well,
I don't know. I don't know if the Cornetto trilogy was like a
financially successful.
I'm sure they were. I'm sure they made back their budget, but I don't know if they were like
multi-million-dollar pullers.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World
was a bomb.
Unfortunately, was a bomb. And which I saw the movie 7 times. I took as many people to it as I could. I tried. I really tried.
How much money can you take from this sad face?
Oh, and thankfully, at the very least, I think the Blu-ray, or either the DVD or the Blu-ray of Scott Pilgrim, was the #1 selling item on Amazon that year.
That's good.
So I guess everyone who did see it knew how good it was.
All right.
Well. So, what do you say for next week?
Whatever comes up.
All right. If
life will decide.
Yeah, if there's a next week. I mean, next week we both got holiday breaks, so.
But this one might want to give a judging on a certain kind of slinger.
Oh, right. I forgot.
See you then.